Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for Old Timers Tuesday, sponsored by Mauer Farm Management. Pretty nice field here this evening as we have, let me see, 15 cars right now. Only 13 have put in times, but Bill Calder, Roger Craig also registered for the sessions. You just won't see their names on there. But it should be a pretty good run here tonight, Eldora. I mean, the Big E, you're going to see the bottom work, and you're going to see the top work. So you just got to make sure, you're able to be smooth if you're on that high side as we're watching Roger Shank and Mike Cramner battle side by side for the moment. May have to go in. I didn't realize this camera angle was this loud here, so we may have to go in, tweak a little bit of settings here. We're gonna do that. Normally have that down around 15 when I do the broadcast. That's a little lower. I was in the car the other night. If I'm lucky enough to pull Dean Reynolds up here later. That's something him and I'll have to discuss. We weren't in the same Discord, but well, we made the final 60 for the Knoxville Nationals event that Iracing holds, and man, that was pretty fun to hear my name on the call, not actually be doing the call. It was quite the experience. If you didn't watch it, don't go back and watch. I stepped on it in the D main, and I bet you out there in the iRacing world, there may be 2 or 3 guys mad at me about wrecking in front of them because we had some pretty quick cars who had trouble in their heat. Had raced their way up through the E main. And we're trying to advance, but man, it definitely was a lot of fun. And anybody out there who has never tried it, I 100% recommend it. It was an absolute blast. But, Rhonda out there as always, rooting everyone on. Gary Single Cow out there, Anthony out there.
Good evening, Speedway tonight. We'll be racing the.
And you hear Morano once again, or John Rayner. That is another big broadcaster no-no because I was in the show. I turned the sound on and never turned it back off before I decided to go out here and do my job. But live and you learn, and these guys, at least here in the retreads, they normally don't make you regret accidentally leaving it on. Oh, big move from the Desert Demon. Look at him. He keeps on rolling. Maybe he knew he was giving his fans a little show out here. That was a big move. Oh, it didn't work out as well entering the pits. The 161 ends up on the lid. So we got Steve Maurer. Here is the man. He's out here on the track in another session as his paint loads up. Dino in the 79. He, I believe, no, I don't know. There may have been other ones. I know, like, there were former, I don't know if people, Dustin Sargent doesn't race all the time. There were other C2C guys in the Knoxville Nationals, but not that I have a super close relationship with or run regularly. So right now, as far as I'm concerned, Dino, the Knoxville King, up until next year, and for C2C until someone corrects me. Now that's obviously 410. You know, we run our charity race here every year, but that is in the 360, not the 410. So 410, it was a whole different ball game. Let's watch these guys run off into turn 3 here. Dino with a slider. Rolling on as that's 79 right now. He's got a lot of speed. Bill Calder pulling out on the track here in the 325. Oh, nope, pulling off the track, excuse me, is the 325. But that green just changed to white up in the top. That means we're going to roll over here and, well, if you're a regular here for the Tuesday night show, you know. Oh, that's right. You're right. Chad Griggs did run in it. I don't think Spangler did this, or Spangler, you know, won the 360 one. But no, yeah, you're right. Chad Griggs, he did run in it. He almost made the show. The top 4, I believe, made it from the B main, which, if you ask me, okay, yes, I guess that's how they do it in the real Knoxville Nationals. But wasn't a big fan of them only. Here we go. They're finally letting me click over. It's going to run 8 guys here in this heat race. But as I was saying, you know, Knoxville Nationals, it's got what they do. I believe, let's see here. How did they do that? 6, 3. Let me do some quick math here. Yeah, they only took 22, and normally there's 24 in the show, I believe. Maybe a couple more, but iRacing only took 22 because they don't do the hard knocks. So they should have took 6 from the heat rate, or from the B main. So as far as I'm concerned, Chad Griggs got robbed. But it's a good run for him. So yes, Anthony, good save there. Chad Griggs is the champ for C2C as we know it. But starting grid here real quick. I'll quit running my mouth here for heat race number 1. The mayor, Steve Bixler on the pole. GJ Boydell to his outside. Mike Cramner the inside of row number 2. Steve Maurer, or Roger Shank to his outside. Bill Calder on the inside of row number 3. The Steve Maurer to his outside. The outside of row number 3. John Morano to the inside of row number 4. And Pat Boyce to his outside. The librarian rounding out the field. But, man, this is a tough heat race to pick here. You got to think the outside here are the favorites. I mean, unless Steve Bixler gets a good restart, somebody's putting a gun to my head. I'm going to pick the 950 of Roger Shank, but we'll see. Long way to go here. Mike Cramner, that's what threw off my grid there. He did not make the start, so Mike Cramner going to start from the pits here, but the green flag is out. Heat race number 1, sponsored by Gambler Motorsports, is underway. Greg Boydell with a great jump here in the open up. Going to jump to the outside, but Steve Bixler's searching the bottom through 3 and 4. Can't get it to hook up, though, this time. Oh, Greg Boydell, hang on to it. He gets a little loose there, almost collects the camera. Pat Boyce, what a move by the librarian. Started dead last. The 41 is up to 3rd, and he is coming. We watch him close down the backstretch. Oh, no, little commentator's curse. Gets into the wall in 3 and 4. Hopefully the car's okay, but, man, that was a big hit for the 41. Greg Boydell got that excellent jump out of 1 and 2, sent it into 3 and 4, and took the lead on the opening lap. Has not looked back since. 2 laps to go for the 014 of Greg Boydell. Steve Bixler, the mayor, if he's got anything, he's got to hook that thing up. He's got one more time. He's close enough if he hooks it up in 1 and 2, and he does around that outside. Let's watch going down the backstretch. Greg Boydell shuts the door. Steve Bixler hooks it up down there. Who's it going to be? Greg Boydell wins heat race number 1, followed by Steve Bixler, the librarian, Roger Shank, and Steve Maurer rounding out the top 5. Man, oh man. What a good finish there, as you see. Oh, right there as it comes up, right as Iracing gives it to us, they take it away. Throw up this starting grid here for heat race number 2, the final heat race of the evening. Starting on the pole, the 747 of the Bassman, Roger Craig, and to his outside in the 79, Dean Reynolds. Gary Singlecowl starts on the inside of row number 2, and to his outside in the 058, Jim Bowie. Terry Landis, the Desert Demon, rolls off to the inside of row number 3, and his dance partner on the outside is going to be the 302 of John Rayner. Rounding out the field, in the 34 machine, we have the captain, Gary Taylor. Pace car is off. We're going to get ready to roll here in heat race number 2. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Roger Craig leads us into turn 1 and 2. Dean Reynolds hooks up right away on the outside. Tries to throw it in there. Big send from the 79. Easily clears the Bassman. Terry Landis searching in the basement. If anybody can do this downstairs, it's the Desert Demon. No one runs the bottom like he does. He's won Renegades races at Port Royal. He finishes on the podium at these tracks where the bottom comes in. And look at the Desert Demon. Let's watch the run down the backstretch as the 79 tries to pull even, but it's just such a long way around here at the Big E. And the Desert Demon so smooth down there in the basement. Dean Reynolds kisses the outside wall a little bit, and that does him in. Terry Landis could slide up and take it away if he wants it, but he doesn't. He's going to go down there and let it eat. Dean Reynolds with a good counter move there off of 4. He made up some ground. Going to try it again here in 1 and 2. Let's see. Swoops up top here in 3 and 4. Is he going to cut down? Yeah, he is. Let's see. Running out of time here. White flag final time. I just don't see him being able to do it. But battle on here for 3rd place. Gary Taylor looks under Roger Craig. As they come to the checkers, Terry Landis wins. Dean Reynolds. Roger Craig holds on the outside through 3 and 4. Gary Taylor almost gets it, but he's going to come home 4th. And Gary Sigelkow rounds out the top 5. As great finish there in Regency Home Inspection Heat Race number 2. As we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. And we will be back with your feature action here at Eldora. Stick around. And we are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV. A little over 20 seconds left to go here in warm-ups, but at the moment, Greg Boydell at the top of the sheet. The Desert Demon Terry Landis, P2, and Steve Bixler 3rd. So we have your 2 heat race winners at the top, and Steve Bixler, who finished 2nd in heat race number 1, there at the top of the charts. Pretty impressive, those guys able to still carry over. Right now, let's look at that points lead here for the retreads. Dean Reynolds has a 20-point lead over Greg Boydell. Steve Bixler 3rd. Greg Parmalee tied with Steve Bixler for 3rd, actually. So Roger Shank right now in 5th position. But a long way to go here. Only 2 races have been run, so way too early to even think about crowning a champion here yet. But that's my job here, to get ahead of myself, try and get everyone excited here. And tonight's feature event, sponsored by Malware Farm Management, 25 laps at Eldora, is about to get underway, and it's going to look a little something like this. Starting on the pole in the 014, GJ Boydell. Into his outside, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Inside of row number 2, the Mayor, Stephen Bixler. Into his outside, Dean Reynolds. The Librarian rolls off on the inside of row number 3. Into his outside, the Bassman in the 747. Roger Shank to the inside of row number 4. Into his outside, Gary Taylor. Steve Maurer going to roll off on the inside of row number 5. Into his outside, Gary Sigelkow. John Morano in the 033 rolls off on the inside of row number 6. Into his outside in the 058, Jim Bowie, as Dino gives us a little wheelie. Bill Calder to the inside of row number 7. Into his outside in the 302, John Rayner. Did not make the call in heat race number 1, but did make the call here in the feature. The 70 of Mike Cramner will round out the field as we get ready to go play at Eldora Speedway. Final time through 3 and 4. Who's going to win this race? I've got my money on the 79, but who knows? The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps at the Big E. Let's go racing. Terry Landis looking to get to the bottom right away. We know that's where he feels comfortable in the 014 of Greg Boydell. Going to run that middle line. Not going to give him a lot of room down there in the basement. Terry Landis right now searching for all he can down there. Almost gets into the inside wall. But Greg Boydell holding them off just enough. We're looking. Let's zoom out here. The whole field pretty much on the bottom. I mean, the whole way. Let's hang around. Right now, they feel that's the move. I mean, Roger Craig here unveiled the new paint scheme this week. God, I love the look of that thing. Terry Landis right now just realizing he's gotta behave. Long way to go. No! Greg Boydell gets a little sideways in front of him. Terry gets into him. And caution is out here at the Big E. We switched over just in time. We knew it was brewing up front. Let's go to that Chapman Racing drone camera as we watch the 014. He gets sideways. Terry Landis is hooking it up down here on the bottom. He comes up a fractions. And Greg is coming down, so that's what's going to happen. Greg hard into the inside wall. Able to stay on all fours, which is important. He'll be able to go in and get that quick repair, but to the back for the 014. He'll have to climb his way back up to the front. Let's see if we can sit here. Will Terry Landis come close enough to the high side for us to see if we can see if his right front's damaged? That's what I want to look at. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty straight for the Desert Demon. Didn't look too bad. Yeah, I mean, that thing, it's straight as an arrow going down the back stretch. So, shouldn't be much of an issue right now for the 161 of Terry Landis. We'll see if the light clicks off here and we go green this time by. Light is off. See, we got the wheel and caution light on the camera tonight. As Terry Landis looks to bring the field back to the green flag. Dean Reynolds, we saw the whole field has loved the bottom, so you got to think advantage Dean Reynolds right here in the overall battle for second. He's got to get a good jump with Terry Landis and see if he can pull under Stephen Bixler. Let's ride on board with Dino for this restart. As Dean, you saw, not the restart he's going to want. Well, if Bixler wants to, he can go down there and shut the door. But meanwhile, Gary Taylor, he was the hard charger there in that heat race, drove his little butt off. He's up 4 spots here in the feature. And Gary Taylor in the 34, he's got himself a race car here this evening. Oh, as we saw a car slow on the inside, Bill Calder. Did that lead to Roger Craig getting into an accident? We'll have to see here. So I believe this is earlier. Bill Calder, you can see that left front wheel. It's vibrating back and forth as we're zoomed in. So he gets into the inside wall, and he comes up and he collects the 747 of Roger Craig. Let's see if we can go on board with Roger. Focus and patience. Well, sometimes you can only do so much as he does. He tried to straighten it up, but I mean, there's only so much you can do. You had to enter the corner. You were going to go collect the outside wall. We see the front wing just go absolutely flying. The 33 of John Morano. What a job by John Morano. Let's go right on board. One more, final replay, excuse me. It's right on board with the 033 of John Morano. So he sees him get in the inside. He sees Roger go up. Oh, he gets into the back of Steve Maurer ever so slightly, but I'll tell you what. Whoa, that could have been much worse. And then Mike Cramner comes roaring through with the wreck, and John had to avoid that. But I'll tell you what, he'll take that. As Terry Landis still out front setting the pace here. Should have 17 laps, or 18 laps to go, excuse me, when we take the green flag. The Desert Demon. Okay, well, they shortened it. We're going to go green this time by. I'm not sure a lot of the field was aware here. As Terry Landis brings us to the green flag. That is a muffled start here. Shortened it. Who is in the inside? Bill Calder, and a caution comes out once again here at the Big E. I believe Bill just trying to get into the inside here. So Bill, that car is damaged. He wanted to get into the pits, but he can't turn it. They went green on him quick, which I think, and then he's just like, I gotta park it. So no shame on Bill there. He did what he had to do. I understand it. I think the shortening there kind of caught him off guard, and he never really had a chance to react. So Bill doing the right thing, pulling to the inside and able to get out of the way here of the leaders. Terry Landis has a little front end damage, as you see that front bar had beat up. Remember the early contact with Greg Boydell. I'm sure the 014, he probably hasn't forgotten about it, as he's just now been able to break into the top 10. But really, in all reality, nothing much the Desert Demon could do. I mean, had a good run on the bottom. Greg kind of lost the rear end, and just a product here of racing at the Big E. But the lights are off, and we're going to get ready to go green this time by. Terry Landis getting as low as he can down there. We're going to watch the pace car pull off here. And the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, looks to hook up, coming off a turn 4. Good restart for Steve Bixler on the outside. He's going to contend here if he can get a good run going down the backstretch, but just can't do it as of now. Dean Reynolds trying to look in the basement there. He loves that top shelf. We see him up there a lot. But now he's down there. He's ghosting Terry Landis, trying to hook it up. He's got to go where the mare isn't. Is everyone right now here? We're going to watch them roll through. First person to come up high is the captain. You see John Morano and Mike Cramner. Everyone committed to that basement as Dean Reynolds able to take P2 at the line. A nose ahead of the mare, Steven Bixler. Dean Reynolds looking to solidify himself in P2. Able to do so. And Terry Landis, he finds himself coming up on into lap traffic. Bill Calder trying to get up high out of the way. Gets into the inside wall. Caution comes out. I believe for the 325 of Bill Calder. We kind of saw that. Let's go back and see if we can find a little better angle here. So Bill, he just goes in a little high, wants to get out of the way, but just loses the rear end a little bit. Gets into the inside wall, and enough for the caution to come out. We'll have 12 laps to go here when we take the green flag again. And I believe man, I'm terrible with my memory. Somebody out there watching, you should remind me who I picked here. I mean, I know in my heart of hearts it would have been between these two, but I think I picked the 79 of Dean. We'll have to see. I may have rolled with Terry Landis. But either or, I think barring a mistake from the front two, or possibly, a mistake at the same time, they have got to absolutely be your favorites here. As I believe the light will go out and we'll go back to green this time. The light is off. And the field will line up double file. Boydell marching his way up through the field right now in 6th place. See him on the outside there. 3rd in line is the 014. Able to get his way back towards the front. Can he contend for a win here? As Terry Landis with an excellent jump here over Dean Reynolds, who's caught sleeping a little bit. The mare going to get that elbow out, shove him up the racetrack a little bit. As we watch him race down the backstretch. 3 wide as we enter 3. Dino on the top shelf. He's going to lose 2 spots. 2nd to 4th for Dino. Is huge move from the captain, Gary Taylor, as he is loving that top shelf right now, looking to the outside of the mare. Steve Bixler trying to hold him off, but how long can he hold him off? As he's so quick right now up there on the top. Advantage, though. Steve Bixler entering turn 3 is going to float it on up in front of the captain. Can the captain look downstairs? Slide job from the 34. Gary Taylor moves on up to P2. Dean Reynolds trying to follow suit. Can he go back to the basement? Steve Bixler at the line, but Dino with room to throw the slider if he wants to. And he's going to move up and take it, but the mare going to shoot back down low. Dino tries to fit it up top, and he does. Makes Steve uncomfortable. Steve's going to lose 1, maybe 2 spots. Knows he's able to get it back under control and fight off Greg Boydell, but caution out. Caution out, I believe, for the librarian of Pat Boyce. We see him in pit road. Let's try and see if we can find a replay of what happened. The 041 in the wall, broken right front. Pounds the wall, pounds the wall. He's got to get on the binders, and he's got to tow. And it's no fun to be Pat Boyce, but that's exactly what you're supposed to do when you're Pat Boyce there. You ruin your own race. You get in the outside wall, you break your own stuff. We'll keep it up there. Don't bring it down into anyone else. And that's exactly what Pat did. So hats off to the 041 for keeping it a single car incident, because we see with cars coming up from behind, that could have been bad. So thank you, Anthony. I was pretty sure I did pick Dean. So Dino, come on, man. We need 2 more spots here. But no shame if you lose to that 161. I talked leading into this thing. I mean, how good he is at a track that will leave you the bottom. And only 2 heats. Still a lot of the bottom left. So Terry Landis here getting the 1 to green in the 161. Looks to bring us back to the green flag for hopefully the 5th and final restart of the evening. The chocolate powder drink mix guy gets ready to lead us to the green flag. And right now, Gary Taylor leaving him a pretty big gap to P2, but he's able to make that up. Pretty good restart from Gary. I thought he was really going to be caught sleeping. Might have hurt Dino a little bit. Dino, though, straight to that top shelf. High, wide, and handsome is that 79. And, oh, Gary Taylor shuts the door. Second and third. Violent wreck at the Big E. Roger Craig goes over. We still have cars piling in. Oh, man, we're going to have to go back and break that one down here at the Big E. Going to have to rewind. It doesn't want to give us a first contact point. And we want to slow this down. We want to go to the Chapman Racing drone camera. So Dean gets a big run off of 4. Okay, he goes down here. He goes down. Gary kind of, just cranks it left, right in front of him. That's an aggressive turn there. Gets a little even sideways. And, well, Dino, nothing he could do. He had already sent it. I mean, he had a huge, huge run. Oh, you see John Morano there and Roger Craig, excuse me. That's how they got involved. Roger Craig then. Big flip from the Bassman. Let's see. We can see the Bassman here. He's trying to react. Maybe would have made it, but has to turn down right as John Morano's coming through. And vicious ride for the 747. John Morano spinning around on his roof like a top. And then if you're the Bassman, you can't unbuckle yet because you still got cars piling into you. Huge, huge wreck here at Eldora. Big beneficiary of that is this man in third place, Greg Boydell. We saw early contact after he got a little sideways in front of Terry Landis, but the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Greg Boydell right now third with 4 to go. Can he go back up there and contend for the lead? We'll have to find out. Terry Landis real low down there in that basement. But the mayor, Steve Bixler, choo-choo, chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. Look at the train coming up high. The tracks are set. He is riding that rim, and oh, man, we are going to have a battle here with 2 to go. No, we're not. I think we're going to have a caution. No caution yet. Maybe able to tow here, but that messed up the mayor. Caution is out. Okay, we are going to get a caution here at the Big E. So not too sure. Let's go back. I believe it goes back to Roger Shank and maybe John Rayner. Not sure how early it goes back. So this is the restart. Roger Shank gets spun around from Gary Singlecow. And yeah, okay, so no caution came out here for this. Not too sure. So then later, it must have been Jim... No? So, oh, okay. So Jim Bowie was the wounded yellow car we saw out here. Let's see if we can see what happened. Yeah, so the right front was broke. Didn't know it. Then I believe we're going to see the leaders come through here any moment. Which was quite the heart attack. Yeah. So there they go. That was scary. And then the caution finally flies. Terry Landis. Thing doesn't look the healthiest out front, but it's still out front, and that's what the Desert Demon likes to see. Is it? Oh, does the Desert? I just realized that, Terry. And much appreciation. You may have showed me that. You may have just put it there for a surprise. I may have said it before, and it may be my medication memory here, but look at Terry Lane. He's got the Shaggy TV logo there. Third logo, bottom on the wing there on the left. My man, Terry Landis, you are awesome. As the pace car pulls off, and we'll have a green-white checkered here. First attempt as Terry Landis advantage 161 on these restarts. Battle on for second as Greg Boydell tried to look under the 075. Mike Cramner, the first car, testing out that top shelf as the white flag is out. Final time here as we watch him go down the backstretch at the Big E. Terry Landis dominated as soon as he got out front in the 161, wins by a clear margin. The Desert Demon, Terry Landis, gets it done at the Big E. Steve Bixler second, Greg Boydell rounding out the podium. Mike Cramner, your hard charger, up 11 spots fourth, and rounding out the top five, the Bassman, Roger Craig. The rest of the field: Steve Maurer, Pat Boyce, Gary Siegelkow, Dean Reynolds, and Gary Taylor rounding out your top 10. John Rayner, John Morano, Roger Shank, Jim Bowie, and Bill Calder rounding out the field. As good racing there towards the end, and, tough break there for Greg Boydell, but able to race his way back up into contention, and at the end of the day, that's all he could really try and do, and he was able to do that. Go back and try and find a longer green flag span here, so I give you guys a little decent footage here during the interviews. And we'll see here. This looks good. Bring up those driver details we love, and we'll give Greg Boydell a moment to get up into the waiting room, and it looks like Greg Boydell was waiting on me as Greg Boydell in the 014 P3, man. I know after the rough start, you probably didn't envision this. Talk to us about how hard it was to climb back up through the field, man.
Just took my time and watched in front of me instead of behind me, and we got there.
Well, I mean, like I say, not the start you wanted, but at the end of the day, Greg, I mean, you're able to climb up here back to the podium, and with a rough night for Dean Reynolds here, you put yourself in a good spot to maybe capture this points lead. And at the end of the day, Greg, that's what you're doing. You're points racing, so you put your head down and you're worked your way back up, man. So great job.
Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it, and don't tell everyone my plan, eh?
Yeah, man, no problem. But Greg, going here into the next race, don't want to look too far ahead, but trucks at Daytona, man. How do we feel? You feel good going in there?
I got my die here, and I'm ready to roll them, Zach.
All right, Greg, looking forward to it. Great run here tonight, man. Way to get yourself back into the race.
Okay,
and,
thanks.
Yeah, wait, I almost forgot. Greg, who do we want to thank here tonight? I'm not doing my job. You got sponsors you want to thank. Jeez, here I go.
Yeah, you're slacking there.
Yeah, what am I doing?
No, just joking. No, we want to thank you and everybody, the volunteers at C2C and Steve Moyer and Moyer Farm Management and Every Child Matters, Ashweekan Speedway, and Abandoned Cat Rescue. And I think that's the list.
Okay, that's what it was. All right, so you and Roger then both running the Every Child Matters scheme this week. I couldn't remember what Roger's logo was, but that's right. I should have known from your car because you always run it. Man, that's...
Mine is actually almost a duplicate copy of young Alex Hill's car that she had wrapped last year on her 360.
Oh, okay, cool deal. That's awesome. Well, it looks great, Greg, and it looks even better when you put it on that podium. So congratulations, my man. Good luck in the trucks.
Okay, thanks again. Have a good night.
Is that your third place finisher, Greg Boydell? And now we're going to bring up the mayor, Steve Bixler, who, Steve, you probably did not want to see that final caution because, man, if you go back and look at this broadcast, you were on rails, dude. I thought you were going to roll that high side right around the Desert Demon, but what happened on that restart?
Well, you're right. I think I had a shot at Terry there because there was a little bit of moisture, but it was getting pretty thin up against the wall. But you could run up there, and Terry was running the bottom the whole race, and I ran it a bunch, and the bottom seemed to be going away, especially coming off of 4. And I thought that's where I had a shot at Terry. If I could run that top and get a run off of 4, I might have him. But we'll never know. The caution came out, so.
Yeah, one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda deals, but it's got to be a little bittersweet here, standing on the middle step, knowing maybe you could have had the lead. But at the end of the day here, Mayor, P2, that's a great points run, and, long season, that's what it's about. It's about these points. So great run here tonight, Steve. Who you want to thank?
Well, I got to thank, of course, Mauer Farm Management. They're our title sponsor there, and he's been friend of mine for a long time. I got to thank him. Of course, Flatline Racing Bodies with Dan Chapman there. He's been a sponsor of the league for forever, it seems like. And I got to thank you, Shaggy, of course, the Salty Dogs, and Steve's Custom Golf Clubs.
Well, hey, heck of a job here tonight, Steve. Good luck in the trucks, man.
Okay, thanks, Shaggy.
And that's your P2 finisher, the Mayor, Steve Bixler. And now we're going to bring up the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, your winner here tonight. Terry, now I don't know, we had a hectic caution right before that final green-white checkered. Were you aware of how close Steve was to your outside, man? Because, dude, he was coming.
We were just talking about that. I saw on the relative that he was like, what, 0.1? I was like, crap, I better step on it and go.
Yeah, man, but sometimes
he was fast up there all night.
Yeah, but dude, you were dedicated to that bottom, and you literally, you ran it as well as you could. That thing was so slim at the end. Talk to us about how hard it was to hit that bottom in 3 and 4.
Well, in the beginning of the race, it was easy, and sorry to Greg. I don't know if I hit him. It looked like he might have spun the tires, and I had a good bike coming out down low, and we just hooked up. And he caught the end of it, so I'm sorry about that. Well, at least he got third, though. But yeah,
I saw what you just said. To be honest with you, that's kind of how I described it. Racing deal.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, the track down low was like really smooth getting in, especially in the beginning. It was just like all you had to do was just zing it in there, and it drove itself right around a turn with the right throttle, But then coming out of 4, it started getting a little slick, so you had to really watch it and really get even tighter to keep the left rear on the dirt.
Well, Terry, man, you and Blake, you're some of the best we have at running that bottom, and you show it time and time again. If it's there, you're going to use it, and, man, if there's enough there, you'll make it work. Hell of a run. Big win here tonight. That does a lot for the points. I know only 3 races in, a long way to go, but, man, that's a huge step. So congratulations on the big win. Who you want to thank?
Thanks, Shaggy. First of all, you for putting us on and making it a great show that you do. Then Mauer Farm Management, for without them we wouldn't be able to do this. And then Galen's Homegrown Popcorn, 15% off on the word cart. And then Yoo-Hoo, of course, and Kreitz Oval Track Parts, and boys back at KSR, and C2C giving us a place to race.
Well, hey, man, looking forward to see what you can pull off here in the trucks at Daytona. I know, I say it to Greg, but you as well. You got to be one of the top dogs there going into there. So good luck, man. Hopefully you can. I can talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks, Shaggy. Appreciate it. Hope we'll be there.
Sounds good. That's your winner there, Terry Landis. Able to bring home the first victory of the night here for Mauer Farm Management. Old Timer Tuesdays. Does it with that damaged front wing, as you see. So couldn't have been handling the best, but still hooks that thing up on the bottom. Gets it done, and we see our second place finisher, the Mayor, roll in there. Give us a little tire spin as he rolls in there, getting lined up for his podium shot. But, man, great race, and I think the Mayor, he's going to go to sleep tonight wondering what could have been if not for a late caution there. But we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be back with race number 2 here on Old Timer Tuesdays Stick around.
It's time for another edition of Iracing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
And we are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, and we're here for race number 2 of Old Timers Tuesday, presented by Mauer Farm Management. And as you can see from that long pond there on the back stretch, we're here at Daytona International Speedway. And, well, it should be a good one here. 25 laps in the trucks. Currently Tim Chapman on the top of the speed charts. Let's show those lap times of the 49.37, 49.35, 49.37 for Gary Singlecow, and a 49.44 for Jim Bowie. We get ready. We're going to roll into qualifying here. Let's see who pulls off the starting grid here first. We'll throw them on the camera. Right now it's looking like Roger Shank and Mike Cramner in a battle to see who gets to be on camera. Roger Shank winning that race. Let's go with Roger right now in the 950. Oh my gosh, is everyone on the field? Oh no! This is amazing! This is amazing! There's no way they meant to do this, but Roger, guys, if you're listening, please do this for the super speedways. Please do this. It'll require a teammate here to draft with. Please do this all the time at the speedways. This is going to be phenomenal. If you are caught out here by yourself, you are in deep you-know-what without a paddle, so I think right now I like this man, John Rayner. Now, he's letting too big of a gap go to Terry Landis here. But Terry and Steve, this should be a quick lap. Tim Chapman, not sure he's going to pull out here in front of Bill Calder. Maybe get a push, but man, right now I'm playing the long haul. You don't want to be that free pick in the air. Oh man, this is going to be interesting qualifying here. So unlimited laps. I don't know how we're going to watch this. So right now, Mike Cramner, you see, he's purple sector 1. Well, that's gone. But Mike Cramner doing his best job here to, I believe, push Roger Shank. So that's Mike and Roger working together. They should come in 1-2 on the charts. This is their opening lap. Okay, so they're not going to get a time registered. Greg Boydell all by himself. So this is a 51.45, but now Greg is going to be in trouble here, I think. So Gary and Pat, yeah, second and a half faster than the 014. So Greg's going to have to go out here and find a friend. Tim Chapman's opening lap didn't count here, so maybe made a little contact with the wall or something, or slipped up and fell down. Steve Mauer, though, right now at the top with that 48.83. So Tim Chapman and Terry Landis working together here. That's something that Tim's going to need here throughout the night. We need a drafting partner. If he could make friends with that 171, that would be it would be a big deal. As Roger Shank and Mike Cramner come around second and third, is they're that tandem, only a tenth off of Steve Mauer right now. Let's go back to see what Tim and Terry do. Fifth and sixth is the mayor. Back there, that 4th car in line finding the huge benefit. Steve Maurer improves a little as well in that 88. So this is where if you're Tim and Terry, yeah. Okay, you got to see the writing on the wall. Slow down here. Let those guys go by and be the 3rd and 4th car in line. But it's not going to happen here. Not going to happen. Steve Bixler right now sitting on that pole. The librarian here coming around on a personal best. Him and Gary Siegelkow working together. Where are they going to be? Uh-oh, you see that purple at the bottom of the screen? You know what that means. Slower through Sector 2. Is it enough? It's not enough for Steve Maurer as Steve Bixler still sits on the top. And, well, Steve Bixler, he's that car pushing Steve Maurer. So, really, if you're Steve, the best you're going to get is the car out front is second out of the two if the car in the back does it right. And, well, right now, Tim and Terry, you need to back off. You need to give those guys in front of you about 6 or 7 tenths of a second, and then you go fire here on this last lap because there's 25 laps left. You won't take the checkered here, yeah, in the next 15 seconds. You'll get another lap around. But right now, yeah, if you're Tim, you're just like playing that a little wrong if you're trying to be a little selfish here. Same if you're Terry Landis. You didn't want to get up on the back of them. Leave a little room, you know, that free 5 or 6 tenths of a second draft for you to suck up on. Just keep it at that 7, 8 tenths of a second mark. But Roger Shank right now, P3, him and Mike Cramner trying to motor around, see if they can move up the charts. They were quicker in Sector 2. They aren't going to move up, but John Rayner in the 302, that 3rd car in line. Like I've been saying, the car you want to be, he's going to move on up. And now, as they come around here, this is where if you're Tim, you got to get in line, you got to draft, and you got to try to pull outside of Terry Landis at the very end. Side by side, what does it do? Everyone in that group is going to stick with their previous laps, as that should do it for qualifying here at Daytona. Steve Maurer, yeah, he was with that group. They are done. So we will wrap up here and get ready to bring you 25 laps here in the trucks. He's at 75. Who's he got on there? Malcolm Mills, mill writing, and then, of course, as soon as I zoom in, we advance. So that's the story of my life here. You guys know that by now. Let's get ready for we'll bring up the starting grid here for tonight's 25-lap event here at Daytona International Speedway. And starting on the pole is going to be the mayor, Steve Bixler. To his outside in the 888, Steve Maurer. Inside of row number 2, the 302 of John Rayner. And to his outside, Mike Cramner. Inside of row number 3, Roger Shank. And to his outside, Roger Craig, the Bassman. So row 3 is the Roger row. Row number 1 is the Steven row. Pretty unbelievable here. Row number 4, got the Terry and Tim row. Terry Landis on the inside, and to his outside, Tim Chapman in the 37. Inside of row number 5 in the 92, we have Ed Harris, and to his outside in the 058, we've got Jim Bowie. Inside of row number 6, the 11 of Gary Siegelkow, and to his outside, or the 11. In the 11th place, Gary Siegelkow in the 025, and to his outside in the 41, Pat Boyce, the librarian. Inside of row number 7, G.J. Boydell, and to his outside, Bill Calder. Long way to go here at Daytona. Not sure where you want to be yet, but I can tell you, when you take that white flag from what I've seen here in races past, man, you do not want to be in the lead taking that white flag. As Especially, you know, if you're going to go defensive, you got to kind of be smart. Hold it still. Hold your line still. Don't throw that block, especially if they're throwing the move down the backstretch, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a little early. I think you want to make your move coming to the line, coming out of 4. I know it's easier said than done, but if you make the move too early down the backstretch, you give that guy time to come back at you, and that's the guy I would be. I would just hang out there, try to suck back up on you, and steal it back. But long way to go here as we watch him roll off of turn number 4. Get ready to enter the tri-oval, and we will go green. This time by here at Daytona International Speedway, the mayor, Steve Bixler, in the 75, looks to see if he can hold off the 13 other drivers he's battling with tonight. Green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to go get it done. Steve Maurer already making a move there on the high side, trying to get down in front of Steve Bixler. He does. Mike Cramner carrying momentum on the high side with the Bassman Roger Craig. Tim Chapman trying to chug-a-lug, hop on that train on the outside. Can he go up and give the Bassman some help as they go down the backstretch? Roger Craig sucks up beside that 70, trying to get as much side draft as he can as they battle side by side. Nobody taking it easy here, racing like it's the final lap. 3 wide back in the pack here for just a minute. Terry Landis on the outside, John Rader to his inside. They're following the 058 of Jim Bowie and the 75 of Steve Bixler, but Roger Craig not going away on the outside, trying to overtake the 70. Just needs a little help from that 37. There's Mike Cramner here getting us a little bit of steam back, trying to pull. Let's see, Tim Chapman goes up, gives Roger one last little shove there going into 3 and 4. Is it going to be enough? He's got to get back to that rear bumper. The 888 doing the 70 no favors right now. Tim's got to take advantage of this and go ahead and give that 747 a big shot. Look at them all behaving themselves right now as Bill Calder. He is your 14th and final driver, but still there in the lead pack. Everyone is alive right now, so let's be smart. Got a good race on our hands right now, and such a long way to go. I mean, realistically, even if we stay green, we still have 20, basically 20 minutes here. So behave, fellas. Long way to go. As we rotate through our cameras here, man, you just get a sense of, oh, big wreck. Tim Chapman involved, Steve Maurer involved, Gary Singlecow. We're seeing a lot of cars. Terry Landis on the inside had to be involved. Let's go back and see if we can unwrap what happened here. As it looked like, we're going to rewind there. Maybe Tim Chapman gets into the side of the 888. We're going to give this an aerial view here. Try to get the Chapman Racing drone camera. Because right now, we'll see. So Tim's coming down. He's kind of staying still there. Now he's coming down. Look at that black line for relevance. So he's got his right sides on that line. He went up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of Tim held his line there. I mean, that's a tough break. The 888 maybe didn't know car high, but wow, look at him skate right on the top of the barriers. Did Steve Maurer. That was a big, big roll. Lands on all fours, though. And I believe able to get back to pit road. There we see the 37 coming back as well. So right now, I don't believe anyone in too big of a bind here. Is I believe Roger Craig now, the Bassman in the 747, will inherit the lead after all the nonsense. Let's go back. Let's see where Roger was when this came out. So Roger, yeah, he was your leader at the time. Him and Mike Cramner ahead of everything. John Rayner, the last person to really make it through truly unscathed. Everyone else. Roger Shank, I believe he's okay, but I mean, at that point, he definitely did get a little bit of damage from bopping around, and I think he did pit. No, he did not pit, actually. Tim Chapman just now coming down pit road. Ed Harris, I believe, will be making his way down pit road. 92 machinist, that thing's pretty beat up, so he'll go in and get that quick repair, get that fender replaced on that number 92. Here's lights are still on, so not going green just yet. Got a little bit of time to process their thoughts. Let's see if we can find someone. You know what? Let's pull up. I don't believe we brought this man up much this year. Hey, Mike, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, hey, man, you know, right now, sitting P2, you got to feel like you're in the catbird seat. What's the plan? You just want to try to ride here till the end?
Yeah, I thought me and Roger could check out there for a little bit, but hopefully we won't have too many cautions and kind of hang on here towards the end. Roger's running pretty good, but I was going to push him around, so we'll see what happens.
Well, you know, right now it sounds like you're pretty committed to that 747, but on the final lap, man, do the friendships go out the window, or are you going to try to win this thing?
Oh, absolutely, man. I don't know about that friendship. I'm just going to hang on to his bumper, see what he can do for me.
Amen, brother. Well, give him hell, Mike. We're rooting for you, brother.
Thank you, man.
We'll send Mike back home, wishing him the best of luck here, but you do got to think right now, that 70, he is in the catbird seat. I mean, you know, Roger, he's just praying. He goes, Mike, I run this league, you know, I've got us this great group of friends here. Stay committed, because if on that last lap Mike decides to pull out, I mean, you are helpless here at Daytona if you don't have that friend. We saw Roger fight on the outside for so long until Tim finally gave him that one shove to get him there, and gonna have to figure it out, gonna have to go. Is right now Terry Landis, he is still on pit road. He had to tow, I believe. So Terry, no, he didn't. Just went down in there and pit. Let's see when he pulls out. No, it's changing. That's right. That's what did it. The caution laps don't count anymore on asphalt. Forgot. So it'll re-change it all here when they get the one to green, which they did. So that's why it had Terry as a lap down, but Terry is on the same lap. He'll get out here. He should be able to motor that thing around and catch on up to the field here. I always forget until it resets there, and I remembered Bill told me last week they finally turned those off here on the asphalt, because SDK does not like that. It likes to, as you see, the laps change as they cross the start-finish line under caution, and then it'll jump back. Always tricks me. It's easy to trick me, though. Oh, I just saw your message there, Ron. I'm not too sure how long that sound was out. I don't think I bumped anything here during the feature. My apologies if I did. Hopefully you guys had it. But I'm a man who makes plenty of mistakes. Ask my wife. So I wouldn't be surprised if I definitely had a little hiccup here, as we're going to watch the Steve King Foundation pace car pull off. And Roger Craig in that Steve King Foundation Knoxville Nationals pace truck is going to lead us back to the green flag once again here at Daytona International Speedway. As Roger Craig still has the advantage right now. His buddy, who we had talked about, Mike Cramner, cycled there, can't get back in line. You know, he was there in second. Was going to try to run behind Roger, but now he couldn't get back down low. He's got a big run on the outside. Can the 058 of Jim Bowie get to him? He doesn't need to. Big run for the 70. He can go down and shut the door. What's he decide to do? He goes downstairs. I mean, that's really kind of what you got to do unless you're locked to your buddy up there, but didn't seem like him and the 058 of Jim Bowie had any plans of working together. As right now, Roger Shank in that 950 going to see if he can't push Jim Bowie on by. Going to go for the low angle here in 1 and 2. And just side by side, 185, 190 mile an hour. I mean, this is just, these guys are motoring around here side by side. Advantage currently to the bottom of Mike Cramner, but for how long can Roger Shank push on by Jim Bowie? He's got to get to that back bumper. Oh, you see there, who is that? John Rayner in the 302. Dip a little low in that yellow 302. That had to get Steve Bixler a little excited in that 75. But right now, you know, we see sometimes in the Pro Series advantage to the high side, but the high side just not able to hook up, really link up and get that run. Advantage Roger Craig in the 747 and Mike Cramner in the 70. Is Roger doing an excellent job of playing second fiddle here to Mike Cramner. Listen to the motors roar coming down the front stretch. Can the outside line get going? Steve Bixler moving on up in front of the 058 of Jim Bowie. He was tired of being the third man in line. And John Rayner, look at him taking advantage. Gonna suck right on up there, take that final podium spot. Now, if he wants to, he could be that guy who moves up top in front of the mare, Steve Bixler. But right now, he's gonna stay in line. Ed Harris, will he think about it, being that fourth guy in line? He may want to pull out and get a little aggressive here in that 92. And there we go. Going to move up top. But right now, Gary tried to make it 3 wide. Wasn't going to let him in line. Didn't have a choice there. Gary going to have to drop him behind the 92. But advantage Ed Harris right now as he had the lead for just a second as they entered 1 and 2. Got to go down and get that side draft here. Got to see what he can do coming down the backstretch. Will we have a new leader as we enter 3 and 4? Let's bring up those gaps. We were showing lap times there. Ed Harris trying to get that run, but right now, man, Roger Craig, he has been excellent, just pushing Mike when he needs to, letting him build a gap and then settle down, letting that motor cool off. And John Rayner, he's got to decide how nice does he want to be? Does he want to get aggressive in that 302? Because if Roger keeps leaving that bottom like that, John Rayner is 100% entitled to dropping down you know, and making it 3 wide here. It wouldn't be the nicest move to throw on Roger, but it wouldn't be out of line. He's got to try to advance. Is Ed Harris here getting a big shove from the 25, but Gary Sigelkow's got to back off as they enter the corner, and the bottom line just pulls away. Big run here for Harris on the outside. If that was the checkered, I believe Harris would have had it at the line, but it's not. 15 to go, and we're wrecking at Daytona. Gary Sigelkow comes down and gets into the side of Mike Cramner, and we got a lot of wrecked race cars here at Daytona. So we are going to try to find, where's Gary Sigelkow here? We did not go back far enough. We're going to rewind. So you can see it there. I mean, that was maybe a fantastic angle. We're still going to change it here because never satisfied. As you can see, Gary right now up high. Comes down towards that black line. Cramner stays there. I mean, he just comes down, goes over Roger's nose, gets into the side of Mike, and they're not able to save it. Get into the outside wall. Steve Bixler hard into the back of Mike Cramner. Comes down, gets into Terry Landis. Greg Boydell and Tim Chapman get in together on the inside. I mean, everyone from Roger Shank on back here involved. Roger, he had got bumped in the side a little bit. He'll probably want to come down pit road. And when everything all cycles out here, I believe Ed Harris, yes, he's behind the pace car. He did have the lead at the moment the caution came out. Let's go back. As you can see, he was just able to miss Mike Cramner. So lucky for him, you know, he had just had that about half a car gap because those cars swinging back up the track could have easily involved the 92. So let's see. Top 4 stay out. Everyone else here is coming on pit road. 14 to go whenever we take the green flag here. And let's see who else we can maybe bring up here. Let's bring up the leader here, actually. Hey, Ed, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
What's up?
Hey, you know, running out front right now. Long way to go, but how do you feel? Is this where you want to be on the last lap, or do you think you want to be in second? What's the game plan here?
I think I want to be up front here and control my own destiny.
Well, you know, I like that attitude. Do we maybe have a partnership worked out, or right now are you a one-man band up there?
I think I'm a one-man band. I haven't run a retreads race in probably 6 months, so I'm not sure they even remember who I am.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ed. They're going to remember who you are if you can put this thing on the podium. Great run so far, man, and we're wishing you the best of luck here the rest of the way. As we'll move Ed on back home. And Ed Harris right now, your leader. He said it. He's a one-man band out there, so looking for a friend. And this is where Roger and maybe John Rayner, some of those other salty dogs, would like to take advantage of the man out front by himself. Tim We've seen him ask for help in different places. This is where if maybe he could get up to the front and link up with the 92 that of Ed Harris, that could really help out both of them. Maybe be a mutual friendship here, but coming to 14 to go here when we get the green flag. Like I say, not even halfway, so a long way to go, and you definitely don't want to put all your cards out on the table just yet. It's Roger Craig and Ed Harris here rolling through 1 and 2, rolling a little infield drone camera here. You gotta think, I mean, I talk about it all the time. We've never really seen the guy win this thing who was in first place on the white flag lap. I think if you're the 41 or the 302, you kind of got to be patient where you're at. You want to push that guy in front of you, and then you want to make enough room for you to... Well, that's a terrible camera. We want to make enough room for, yourself to get down in there. You don't want to get stuck on the outside and then end up being that first car who could potentially get pushed to being out front. Kind of want to stay that second car in line and control your own destiny. So a lot on the line here. This second restart, 14 to go at Daytona International Speedway. Can Ed Harris hold off the rest of the field for 14 more laps? Well, I kind of doubt it. He may hold him off for a couple, and then he may have to go back at it. But the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Good jump for Ed Harris. Roger Craig forces his way down in front of Gary Singlecow. Gary lifts. Pat Boyce, is he going to be able to drop down in front of the 25? Most of the field single file. This is your first and only battle right now that I see. Roger Craig and that Steve King Foundation blue pace truck scheme is going to jump to the high side. He's looking for some help. Advantage inside line, though, for now, is John Rayner able to give that big push to Ed Harris. Gary Singlecow floats up a little bit. And, man, that's got to be scary if you're Roger Craig. Let's go up to the blimp camera here. Ooh, Gary Singlecow almost got into the 41 there. Oh, John Rayner in the 41 make contact. Gary Singlecow floats up. Oh, Greg Boydell. Can he hang on to it? Can he hang on to it? Oh, Greg Boydell ends up going around. We saw him try to hang on to that, but man, that wreck, that happened a while back there. Let's go back and find Greg. What I mean by that, they were wrecking for a while. Let's see if we can see what happened. So we're seeing they'll come down, and then I believe it's coming here into 1 and 2 is where the wreck happens as they roll down the front stretch. So the 014, he sees that happening in front of him. There it is. Gary comes up in front of him. Big time. Doesn't give Greg a choice. Greg then comes down and gets into, I believe, that is Roger Shank. Yes, it is. Bounces off Mike Cramner. Speed it up a little bit here. And then they just kind of, they could never really gather it up. Big wreck. And tough break. Wait, Ed Harris. Oh, there was a wreck up front too that we missed? Oh, man. This was, I believe... Yeah, so this was all right. So the yellow flag comes out. We're gonna show this. So we're gonna leave it on the leader here. Right when that flag comes, so you see caution is out. Roger gets a shove from behind from the 41. Turns down into Ed Harris after he gets that bump in the leader. Ed Harris. Oh, man. Oh, man, you feel for him. That is brutal. Brutal for the 92. Tough break. And now, I know Roger, he didn't want to give up that lead. But let's see here. Did he get damage from that? I mean, they clearly touched. Looks clean. So maybe not going to affect him. I really don't see any damage on that thing whatsoever. So the 747, you'd think, in that he would have got a scuff right there where that Shaggy TV logo is. Or no, I guess that would have been a little deep. He hit him more with that left front in front of the tire. But yeah, absolutely no markings at all. So the 747 able to continue here without an issue. Still got a lot of racing left here is, 12 laps. Even if they stay green, that's 10 minutes of green flag racing here. So plenty of time to go up here and take the lead. You don't have to throw the book at it here on the restart if things don't go your way. Just settle down, catch your breath, and go back to work. Here is plenty of time to figure something out. But huge shout out to all the people there. North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama that got hit with all that flooding. We're thinking of you. Hopefully not many rigs, computers were destroyed. As we saw there's been people who have lost their lives. So it's a serious thing down there. And we hope everyone is okay. 747, he's got his friend the librarian behind him. That's a comfort to him, that's for sure. So he's going to hope Pat gets a good restart and can hang with him here on the inside. We'll watch him roll down the backstretch here, double file. We'll have 12 more times around at Daytona when we take the green flag. Let's take a look. We actually didn't discuss, I have it up here. We didn't discuss that points lead at all. Right now, Greg Boydell is the current asphalt points leader with a convincing 30-point lead over Mike Cramner. So Greg Boydell just looking for a smooth ride tonight. Roger Craig right now in that third points position. But Greg Boydell in 13th. He's going to need a big rebound here at the end. He wants to hold on to a big points lead going into next week. As Roger Craig brings us by the pit road entrance. And we get ready to take the green flag one more time here at Daytona International Speedway. Can the 747 get his friend the librarian to hook up with him? Good restart for Roger Craig and Pat Boyce. Field was thinking about trying to go single file there, but Gary Sigelkow, he's going to peek to the outside, and Terry Landis is going to shoot to the inside. But Gary Sigelkow, man, oh man, is he got that thing screaming like a bat out of hell on the high side. Look at that run from Gary Sigelkow. 5th to 1st, going down the backstretch. Now he's got a screaming bunch of bees behind him. Can Terry Landis get to him and help out? We're hearing a car spin out in the back. Caution out for the 75 of Steve Bixler. Greg Boydell involved as well. Steve Bixler and Bill Calder get into it. Come up in front. Oh, Boydell, we're going to try to change cameras here really quickly. Not quickly enough. We're going to rewind here. You see, they're just 3 wide here in the back. And Bill and Steve with, I mean, the slightest of touches, and Steve hard into the outside wall. Bill Calder, I do believe. Okay, yeah, the motor did blow, but it looks like he's got enough power to drive that thing back in. Steve Bixler as well, so that's a big deal. Not having to use that tow. Won't get stuck in pit road. Just now hit the halfway point, so go pop some popcorn. Get your blanket. You know, maybe make a glass of hot cocoa. Warm yourself up. We got 2nd and 3rd there. It looked like John Rayner maybe got into the back of Pat Boyce. Not sure if either just suffered damage there. See if we can zoom in and tell. Doesn't look like it. See the back of that 41. I can't tell. It looks okay. It's the Salty Dog Ford. Let's see here. Lights are still on the pace car, so not going green just yet. Roger Craig will look to lead us back one more time, but now Pat Boyce here. Being in 2nd, he'll have to start on the outside. Well, unless Roger chooses the outside, which we have not seen yet for a leader at Daytona. You know, I could see you doing it if your buddy was in 4th and you wanted to count down the restart for him. But other than that, no advantage to taking the high side on a restart here. Let's see. Steve Bixler tightening up. Bill Calder tightening up. So looks like we have everybody out there on the track. Should go green next time by, we hope. Yeah, lights are still blinking there, so tough when they get in the sun there coming off of 4. It's tough to really see them flash. As they cut the lights off, and we're going to go back racing here this time by. Hopefully we can get a couple green flag laps in here, as these last ones have been pretty quick. We got gonna have 11 to go here, so you know, I keep saying, and I do mean it, there is plenty of time here, and realistically, man, you know there's gonna be a big wreck here at the end, so just try to race your way up to the front. You don't need to do any crazy 3 wide, any wild moves here. Just be smart and get your way up there. Make sure you're there at the end. Right now, Steve Bixler currently running in 14th. after starting on the pole. So Steve Bixler would like to rebound here. Pat Boyce started 12th up to 2nd, so he can only do one more better, and he'd like to get by his salty dog friend there in the 747. See here, I believe. So, who has wins this season? John Rayner and Mike Cramner are the only two drivers with wins this season. So, John Rayner, the only driver currently in the top 10 with a win. So, odds are not in the favor of a repeat winner here tonight at Daytona, but that could change. Plenty of time here as the pace car dives off. 11 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway as the Bassman looks to bring us back to the green flag for the 4th time here in the 747. We're back underway at Daytona. Good jump for the Pat Boyce on the outside as he's battling for the lead here on the restart. Gary Sigelkow, we know how aggressive he can be. He's trying to get right up to the back of that 41 and give him a shove here. Can they make it work going down the backstretch? We'll have to see. Gary making it 3 wide here. I don't know if that's the move here. As if you're Pat, can you really go and help him out when he just hung you out to dry? I don't think you can. Roger going up there, maybe protecting a little bit. Long way to go here. And oh, man. We kind of saw this coming here. Is just maybe getting a little too aggressive, trying to fight for spots here early on. The 37, he's got the lawnmower out, but it looks like Tim's going to make it through unscathed here. Let's go back and see if we can try and find out what happened here. So we're going to try to find Gary Sigelkow on this. Okay, so not back near far enough. Okay, so this is where the 3 wide started. Now we're going to find an aerial camera here. Let's try to find that Chapman Racing drone camera. So now here Roger floats up a little bit. Floats up. I mean, he's riding that black line. Roger comes up a little bit. Gary bounces off of him, bounces off the wall. Gets into Roger. Roger hard into the inside, and Bill Calder may have thought he was going to make it through. But this is where I think Roger bounces off the wall maybe yet again. Bill Calder nowhere to go. Roger able to pull it down into the inside here. Oh, Bill Calder into the pits. Man, oh man, wrecking up front. And that puts the 302 of John Rayner to the lead. And Greg Boydell, we saw, he was able to make it on through that accident. Big benefit to him, but man, oh man. Still absolute lifetime of racing here left at Daytona, 10 laps, so yeah, there will be 9 to go when we get the green flag. So bunch of time here. Drivers just need to relax and realize everything's going to work out. I believe Roger Shank may have disconnected here. He might have said enough's enough, I believe. Yeah, he was in that accident. We saw him jump to pit road, and think we're going to see him leave here. Not too sure. Yeah, because we're not getting a camera of him now. So Roger Shank no longer in the race server, I don't believe. His lights are still on, so not going green just yet. Thank you for joining us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. This is a long one, so we appreciate your patience, appreciate you sticking it out here. Terry Landis finding himself up there in P2. That's going to be on the outside on this restart. Gary Siegelkow inside of row number 1, man. But, you know, and this is no shot at Gary, to each their own. Everybody's got their own style. But, man, he is really aggressive. I don't know if that's who I would want behind me. We kind of saw him sell out Pat there, I believe, earlier. And, you know, make it 3 wide going down the backstretch right before that accident started. So, definitely not, you know, when you see a guy make that move, that's not somebody who you want to necessarily put your faith in and hope that he's going to push you to the front. You know, drivers watch that stuff. So, when you do that, especially with that many laps to go, you know, it's not like you're going for the win with 11 to go. You're not going to make many friends doing that. And like I say, everybody's got their own style, but it's just if you want that buddy at the end, you know, he's going to... if the 41's behind the 25 on that white flag lap, I mean, he is going to remember not getting help, so... to see here. I think they maybe the restart, maybe single file here. They're within 10 to go. The settings may have been a little whacked because, well, we saw they all did qualifying together. That's not a normal thing. So maybe a little hiccup there. You see Ed Harris getting back out, lining up. Bill Calder, not sure if he's going to be able to make it back out or not. John Rayner looks to bring us to the green flag here, and we'll have 9 more trips around Daytona here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Mike Cramner. He's behind that man right in front of him in points. So Mike Cramner would love to get around that 014. Greg Boydell, you know, with the point run he's having here, big lead. He just wants to stay in the show. He probably, you know, don't get me wrong, he wants to win. Greg wants to win. But a top 5 means a lot more here than finishing, you know, 13th or 12th. So got to make sure you come across the line in one piece. Is going to have 9 laps here as the 302 of John Rayner brings us back to racing here at Daytona. Can we behave for 9 more trips around the sun? Mike Cramner, the first to duck out to the high side. Where does Tim Chapman's loyalty lie? He goes behind the 014 of Greg Boydell. Let's see what the Desert Demon decides to do out front. Is he going to stay in P2 for now, which is personally what I would do? Gary Siegelkow, I told you, he's aggressive. He's going to be that first man to try to go make that move on the outside. Can Greg Boydell in the 014 get to him soon enough to give him a little bit of help? Gary Siegelkow right now not getting any help. Advantage bottom. Terry Landis all over the back of the 302. John Rayner leads with 8 laps to go. We watch them file off into turn 1, 2 by 2 by 2. Everyone in the field has a dancing partner right now as the 888 looks to have 2 of them underneath Greg Boydell and Mike Cramner in the 70. What do they do here? Mike Cramner, they were almost 3 wide. Not sure if the 014 had to back off the throttle, but man, look at him fanning out. Oh, the 888 slid up the track a little bit. Gets into Mike Cramner in the 014 of Greg Boydell. No harm, no foul. Oh, Steve Maurer, hold on. Able to get up high. Now Mike Cramner is going to switch spots with him. Or does he go back up top? He slams the door on Tim Chapman, stays low. Long way to go here. Settle down, boys. But Gary Single-Cow trying to make that move for the lead once again. Terry Landis, one of the best partners you could ask for. The 302 getting a big shove here going down the backstretch from Terry Landis. As you see the 25 of Gary Single-Cow just trying to get as low as he can, suck as much side draft, but not getting much help from behind. Oh, coming to 6 to go here this time by Mike Cramner. Gets a little sideways, shuffles out of line. He's able to work his way back up on the track. Man, that could have been scary. Good save for the 70 of Mike Cramner. Oh, Gary Single-Cow, Carlo, big wreck once again here. Lots of cars involved, and oh man, not too sure. Not too sure what's going through that 25's head there is not clear. Let's go back. Let's take a look at a replay. We're going to rewind a little bit there, but I mean, there you see it. John Rayner, I mean, he's just wondering what more he could possibly do here. Let's see. I mean, John Rayner right now, he sees Terry Landis going by on the outside. You already feel helpless at this point. And Terry, like I said earlier, and this is no shot at Gary, but that's not somebody who, he wanted to get back down and he wanted John to stay behind him. And I mean, he tried to get down there with only that 1 car gap, but Gary tried to make it 2 and goes around. Tim Chapman, you see, he checks up. Got hit from behind there from the 70 of Mike Cramner, who then gets hit from behind by Jim Bowie. They all meet in the middle there, and man, oh man, we got a burrito through 1 and 2 of trucks here at Daytona International Speedway. Gary Single-Cow was able to make it back to pit road. It looks like Tim Chapman, trying to make it into his pit box, is able to make it to pit road, though. That's half the battle as long as you can make it there. So just don't want to have to use that toe. You don't want to get caught out here. We should have 5 more laps to go whenever we do get the green flag. And well, I told you had time to pop that popcorn, make some hot chocolate. I think, I wouldn't be surprised here if we get another one as the patience run thin here. As I believe we're looking at our leader, Terry Landis, once the scoreboard all shuffles out correct. Ed Harris able to get back into the top 3s, back up to 3rd. I'm guessing this will all cycle correctly, but it's got Tim Chapman as the leader right now. He's definitely not the leader. So we'll have to see here. The lights are still on, so not going green this time just yet. Oh man, Rhonda, me too. I'm also looking forward to next week, because sometimes these oval races, man, when you get 6 cautions here and the laps aren't counting, they can get pretty long, but I appreciate you for sticking around here, and these guys will give us a good show here to finish this thing out. And it does. The software has Tim Chapman 1 lap ahead. I was worried about that. As going around the pace car, we'll have to see if when we get the green flag, everything cycles out. Because he is at the back of the pack. The lights are off, and going down the backstretch, we'll be going green this time by Terry Landis. We'll have 4 more laps here at Daytona. But yeah, normally it fixes itself quicker than this. That's why I've been kind of spacey here. I'm trying to stare at this software. I do not like the way this looks. It hasn't had anyone like numerically that far ahead yet. So I'm not sure. Hopefully we don't have to throw another caution and fix this here, but I'm not really too sure what they'll be able to do here with a short amount of time if it doesn't fix itself. So we're gonna hope that it fixes itself here. Is the green flag is high, and Terry Landis will look to fire off once he hits that Geico restart zone. And we've got 4 more laps to go here at Daytona. Will the leaderboard change? No, it won't change. So what I assumed happened, or would be the problem, did happen. Tim Chapman, your leader now. Terry Landis, though, your real leader out here battling. No caution yet. Ed Harris looking to the outside. I'm not sure how to call this thing. Who's going to give what, if they'll try to fix it. But I'm going to assume right now we're watching the lead here. As Terry Landis, Ed Harris to his outside. It's Terry Landis getting help from the 014 of Greg Boydell. Greg Boydell, your current points leader. I told you he'd come into this thing, try to race it as smart as he can. And, well, right now he's got himself in a good spot here trying to get a win. Is that 014 of Greg Boydell. And meanwhile, Tim Chapman scored your leader, just hanging out in the back. Greg Boydell and Ed Harris, they get close coming out of 2 here. Ed with a big run. He had to go down and try to get that side draft. Can he get a shot here from Pat Boyce? Oh, Gary Sigelcow, he was looking low. That would have been a big-time move there, as that had to get everyone's heart rate jumping here. Is 2 laps to go, this time by the Desert Demon Terry Landis in the lead. Terry Landis Landis battling hard on the inside. Is Ed going to get a big push here going down the backstretch from the 41? No, Pat Boyce is going to go around, and we are going to have a caution here at Daytona once again, and that should set us up for our first attempt at a green-white checkered. And now, well, this is going to be where it gets funky here. Terry Landis, he wants to be the leader, but bet you it's going to have you go around the pace car here, bud. And, well, I think Tim Chapman's going to be that leader. Well, let's see here if we can find that last caution. So who was that? Pat Boyce involved. He gets... Let's see here. We're going to find a different camera. We're going to rewind a little bit. See who we can place the blame on here. So Pat, he's got that dent in his front nose too. That thing probably isn't making that thing very fast. Mike just peeks to the outside, and, well, Pat maybe comes up across his nose a little bit, not knowing he was there. Mike didn't have a lot of car up there yet, but, I mean, at that point, you can't react that fast. Can't really blame either one racing incident here at Daytona. Not too sure what is going on here. Yeah, I think Terry and them, maybe they're realizing that they should go around the pace car that... Yeah, okay. So, see, you got a pretty smart broadcaster on your hands, so it does have Tim Chapman as the leader. He drove around to catch up to the back of the pack. Well, it told him to let the pace car by, and now Terry... All these guys, maybe they'll... Not too sure. Maybe they'll just do a clear all on the blacks. Not too sure what the plan is here. But either way, got a couple minutes here, so go refill that drink and come back. Check yourself out a green-white checkered here at Daytona. Hopefully we can make it to that white flag, and this 7th caution of the evening is our final caution here. And I also, I broadcast for another series here, so I will get interviews to you, but they are going to be short and sweet this evening, as my apologies. We'll see here. Does Tim tighten up to the back of the field? Yes, now he does. And lights are still on, so we're going to go around one more time here. As we roll through 3 and 4, getting ready to roll down the front stretch, coming out of 3 and 4. Hopefully we see these lights click off. There they go. Lights are off, and we'll come back to the green flag here next time around. Couple guys deciding to come down pit road. Not too sure why here this late in the race. So maybe fuel was an issue. Yeah, we appreciate you for sticking around, Rhonda. You know the finish here. This is when it gets the most exciting. I know it was a little bit of a drag your feet to get here, but this finish should be pretty good here. Like you say, hopefully we behave, we get around to that white flag. Long, long way to go here. Tim Chapman here, real slow coming out of the pits. Not too sure what's going on with him. He's going to be able to make it back here. Just sitting still. This is a live feed, so not sure what's going on at all with the 37 here, as we are not paused. Tim Chapman just sitting there, and if we would go back to green here, oh man, I think that would bring out another caution. So hopefully everything okay for the 37. As I'd love to see that thing get rolling, because no surprise, that is my dad, Tim Chapman, in. Well, I get anxiety, and obviously seeing that thing sit there, man, I think the worst is, well, that thing's finally starting to roll. Here we go. Terry Landis brings us back to the green flag, and we are back racing here. Are we? It still says caution. Okay, so we're still seeing caution up top, as you can see. I'm not sure what's going on here. If we're back to racing, if maybe it had timed out, I have no idea, but we're just going to follow this along. Ed Harris, for what we assume, battling for the lead. Mike Cramner right now in second. Mike Cramner peeking to the outside. He's got Gary Sigelkow. Gary's going to make it 3 wide. 2 to go. Mike Cramner in the outside wall. So, yeah, I am not sure what happened there at all. I guess they'd had Tim that lap ahead because they didn't go around. And so now the leaders are at 2 to go. This was very, very confusing. So now we're at that 2 to go. Terry Landis dropping down, not too sure what that's about. He's got some damage. Maybe ran out of gas in the 161, did the Desert Demon. That may have been why some people pit. As white flag in the air, final time, Ed Harris looks to take the checkered here. Let's see what he can do. If you're John Rayner, when do you make your move if you're in the 302? When's the time you duck out of line? Coming down the backstretch, final time. We've got 4, 5, now 6 cars as they pull their way on up in a line here. What do you do? Greg Boydell right now, P3. Roger Craig, he's actually a lap down involved in this. Oh, no! That's not what you want if you're Greg Boydell, but that's what you want if you're Ed Harris. Ed Harris takes the checkered at Daytona. First race back in a long time. We interviewed him live, and man, he's able to park it in victory lane. Steve Bixler second, Jim Bowie third, John Rayner fourth, Greg Boydell fifth, Mike Cramner sixth, Bill Calder seventh, Tim Chapman eighth, Terry Landis ninth, and rounding out the top 10, Roger Craig. The rest of your field, Gary Sigelkow, Pat Boy, Steve Maurer, and Roger Schenk. With that, we'll try to find these drivers a little bit. I know they're going to be driving around for their victory photos. But we'll see what kind of investigative work we can do here. Try to pull these guys up, speed up the process a little bit. As we'll bring up Jim Bowie here to the The room. Hey, Jim, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Pardon?
Oh, I said Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
Make sure you all get in there. Hurry up and line up so we can possibly get an interview.
As I think Jim's trying to park this thing, but hey, Jim, you got a copy up here in the booth?
Yeah, I do.
Well, hey, man, able to bring it home P3, exciting final lap there. Did you think maybe a little longer run you could have got up there and maybe won this thing?
Oh, it kept changing around so much. It was, might as well be playing bingo.
Yeah, it almost felt like that a little bit. You just kind of needed to be in the right place at the right time. And, well, Jim, able to find yourself on that bottom step of the podium, man. Congratulations. Who do you want to thank?
Oh, all the guys in the retreads group have been really helpful.
Well, we know that retreads group, man. You guys are a tight-knit group of guys and able to represent with that podium. Great job tonight, Jim. Look forward to a lot more of these, man.
Thank you.
It's your P3 finisher, Jim Bowie. And now we're going to bring up your second place finisher here, Steve Bixler. Hey, Steve, able to bring home P2 there at the end. That was quite the eventful finish. Did you think you were going to be able to bring home that podium?
Well, I didn't have enough fuel, so I had to come in, and Greg came in. Boydell came in, too. And so I knew we had enough, but some of them other guys were a little tight on fuel. So I was far enough back. I figured I'm going to come in and get enough to make sure I had enough to go all the way.
Well, that was the smart business move there. You're able to avoid that wreck there at the end and play it smart there and get gas. You got to feel good, man. 2 podiums tonight, and all in all, it was amazing points night.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Always bridesmaid, never the bride, right, Shaggy?
Exactly, man. But somebody's got to do it, right? And that somebody's normally me, or it seems like you lately here, Steve. But congratulations, man. Big P2 here. Who you want to thank?
Well, I got to thank the Salty Dogs, of course, and Mauer Farm Management and Flatline Racing Bodies and Steve's Custom Golf Club. So,
well, great run, Steve. Good job, man. Look forward to a lot more of these, brother.
All right. Thanks for putting on the broadcast, Shaggy. You do a tremendous job. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Steve. Big P2 there for the mayor. And now we're going to bring up the winner here this evening, Ed Harris. We talked to him a little during that race. And Ed, first time back, and you're welcome back with a win, man. Long race here. You had to earn that one.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. There was a lot of cautions in that, and that actually helped me out because it gave me time to get back up through after that incident about midway.
Yeah, not that I want to rub that in there, but you had to be a little frustrated. I mean, we see the caution come out, and it wasn't on Roger. He gets a little bump from behind. I can't remember, but, man, getting turned when that yellow flag was out, that had to be a little frustrating. But at the end of the day, Ed, you put your head back down, man. You went on the grind, and you got this thing done. So, hell of a run, man. Congratulations on the win. Who you want to thank?
Thanks. I'd like to thank the league for putting this on. It's a lot of fun. Like I say, prayers out for everybody down south that's suffering, and hope everything works out good for everybody.
Yeah, amen. I said that earlier here to start the broadcast, but we're definitely thinking of you guys down there. Hell of a win, Ed, and I hope to see a lot more of you here this season, man.
We're going to try to make as many as we can. Thank you. Like I said, thank you. Thank the league. This has been a really fun night.
Well, we love having you here, Ed. Big win here. Way to come back with a big statement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's your winner, Ed Harris. And with that, we're going to wrap it up here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. I hope you had fun here. Big thanks to Mauer Farm Management for picking up the sponsor. Tomorrow night, we are right back at it with Hometown Heroes. And who else on the call but me, your boy Shaggy here. Around 7:45 Eastern, we'll go live. We'll be at Charlotte tomorrow. We'll be in the 360 sprint cars. And right after that, we'll be in the 410. So hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. Come on out. Join me tomorrow. I'm Zach Chapman with the Coast to Coast Racing Network here, broadcasted by Shaggy TV. Signing off. Have a good evening.